It's 12 o'clock and let's begin what we want to talk about today. Is everyone able to hear me clearly? I'm having a little bit of internet problem today. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly? ठीक है. पिछले we have explored a visioning tool. We have explored a project management tool called work breakdown structure. We have explored a way to expand our creative capacity, a tool called lateral thinking. And yesterday we have explored something called design thinking. These are all tools that help us to solve problems and to transform our lives and transform the work that we do. Today we want to share a very simple but a very powerful tool, which is a conversational tool. So it's a very different type of a tool. It's not technology. It's a conversational tool. And it's a very powerful approach that has been used by companies and organizations all around the world to transform and to solve problems. You know, जब मैं स्कूल में था, तो I was a decent student, but मेरे पापा हमेशा बोलते थे कि ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, you can do better in this, इस बात को improve करो. और one day I got really frustrated and I told my father कि, you know, Papa, every time you are telling me what's not okay, I feel very frustrated. Why can't you appreciate me? Why can't you tell me what's good in me? And then he looked at me and he smiled and he said, you know, there are thousands of things good in you. It's just how much I love you. And it's because of my love for you that I always want you to keep getting better. So I keep telling you where you can be better. And I find myself doing that today, myself as a father. I find myself doing that with my children, which comes purely from a place of love. You know, we find out what is not okay, and we hope that by pointing that out, the other person will be able to make that okay. While it's beautiful and it comes from a place of love, but in our organizations and in our personal relationships, what works, I believe, even better than this, is a completely different approach, which is to find out what is working. Instead of finding out what is not working and asking the question, what's wrong, and then trying to fix it, which is the traditional approach, appreciative inquiry as a tool encourages us in any challenging situation to begin the conversation by finding out what's already working. So to introduce this tool, I'm going to call on my friend Akash Bhalerao, who has introduced this tool to us, to come on and share a few things before we launch into a very interesting interactive activity for today. So Akash, over to you.
Thank you, Aditya. Can you all hear me clearly? Cool. I'm going to share my screen. So, just one second. You all can see my screen? No, maybe not. Can you all see my screen?
Akash, it's loading. Okay, we can.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, appreciative inquiry is a tool that I came across through my master's program. And basically, my master's program was designed by using techniques and tools from the Art of Hosting community. The full name of it is the Art of Hosting and Harvesting Conversations That Matter. It is also known as the Art of Participatory Leadership and revolves around how to engage people. In terms of appreciative inquiry, as Adi said, the main focus is that don't focus on what's wrong, focus on what's working and what people are like rhyming with, and then build on that and use that as a tool to improve other things. So it is one of the best large group methods used for organizational development and transformation or change management in different organizations. This is because it is scalable, it is generic, so you can invite anyone into the conversation. It helps revitalize and help people get enthused, and it also helps you engage people. Basically, if you wanted like a graphical visualization in traditional organizations with respect to creating change or solving problems, it's usually the top leadership or management for a project that are in a room and discussing it. But as organizations and our supply chains are getting more complex, it's important to engage more and more people in this discussion, which appreciative inquiry as a tool helps you do, and helps you consider everyone's ideas, helps you involve everyone, thus helping you have happier employees and have better ideas. Also, help you see new opportunities that you otherwise might not have seen. And lastly, what is important in this is for everyone to basically just host themselves and be present, participate, and be hosted. So if there's a activity designed, participate with your full energy, and then host conversations. So if you notice someone is struggling to be present, invite them in and be like, hey, what do you think of it? And help engage other people, because all of us can be hosts. And lastly, practice community, so we all can learn together. So that is basically like the sciencey stuff behind it, all the conceptual stuff. What's really unique about this is that it does not out there you're looking at yourself as a host, you're looking at yourself as someone who's also participating in the process. Usually we are used to asking people a question and then not engaging, whereas for me, what being a host means is that you are welcoming people. And it's like if you were to have a party at your house, uh, you're not just going to tell people the directions ki bathroom udhar hai, this is where you can find the drinks, and here is the itinerary for today. You're going to basically welcome them, see where they're at, not direct them to the water or the juice if they want coffee. You're trying to engage and understand what they're up to. And appreciative inquiry as a tool uh, can help you engage a lot of different people in a conversation. Uh, Obviously, it'll be an individual conversation. Aditya will go into it in a moment. But it helps you understand what's working for people and also see it through their eyes, because whatever they discuss is also harvested. And I'm going to switch over to Adi so he can contextualize it even further and move us into the activity.
This is my mouth organ. And for the last 1 year, I have been doing an online program and spending about 20-30 minutes every day on an online channel learning how to play the mouth organ. And believe me, I suck at music. Music मेरे खून में है ही नहीं. But फिर भी एक जिद है कि सीखना है. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, I'm going to learn. And it's been 12 months. I've been very diligent. But let me tell you, I can see my mother on this call smiling because she knows it कि music हमारे family के खून में है ही नहीं. But it's one पागलपन, सीखना है. But what I want to tell you is कि when I get a little riff right, जब थोड़ा सुर आता है ना, I feel so excited that दिन भर में जो भी कुछ गड़बड़ अगर हुआ हो, that all I forget everything. That joy of learning, of discovering something new, is so powerful that it lights up our brain, it lights up our life. And that's what this Explorathon is. So what we are going to do now is we're going to break up into groups of 3. So just like we've been doing these Zoom breakouts, our friend Aniket will break us out into groups of 3. So you will be with 2 other explorers, all right, in your group. So we will be in groups of 3. So perk up, get ready, put your videos on. Ideally sit with a pencil and paper in front of you. और आप अपने 3 के group में you are going to have a discussion using a very simple form of this thing called appreciative inquiry. What we are going to discuss is one thing that we all like to find faults in is our education system. We all have our own personal criticism and analysis of the education system. And yes, it has enough of its faults, it has enough of its good points. But let's say if we as a system, as a community, अगर हमको education system को और improve करना है, अगर transform करना है, let's experiment using appreciative inquiry. So what we are going to do is we are in your groups of 3, you are going to talk about when was the last I talked about the joy of learning the mouth organ. For me, I have been learning it. I used to
network issue.
A little network issue is there. I'm sorry. Is it okay now?
Yeah, better. Just try again now.
All right. So, in your group of 3, each person is going to share an experience they have had of learning something new and how it made them feel. So, you're going to share about what you learned. You're going to share about how you went through the experience of learning it. And you're going to share about how it made you feel. Okay. We will give you about 6 to 7 minutes. You will be 2 or 3 members in each group. It may be a little uncomfortable suddenly to talk to a new person, but it's also a lot of fun. So have your best smile on and make your best effort and share very openly and very freely. Now, how it's going to work is one person will 1.5 minutes. The 2 people who are listening, one of them will play the role of a listener, which means they will listen with their full attention to the speaker. The 3rd person will play the role of a harvester, which means he will finds testing.
Adi, the last bit.
Last bit was not clear. You went off again.
All right.
The last bit.
I'm going to request Nisha to share. Nisha, can...
Yes. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Awesome. Yay, great opportunity for me to speak now that Adi is not audible.
Can you please take...
Everyone? Yeah. I'm explaining. Namaste. I'm going to try speaking in a mixture of Hindi and English, considering कि मेरे parents भी यहाँ हैं, जिनको हिंदी में ज़्यादा easily समझ में आएगा. तो हम लोग क्या करने वाले हैं कि it's a very interesting creative activity that is used by big global powerhouses from across the world, including Apple and many interesting companies and NGOs. तो अभी जो ये बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज में प्रैक्टिस चलता है उनकी कंपनी के अंदर जो एम्प्लॉयज करते हैं क्रिएटिविटी और पॉजिटिविटी बढ़ाने के लिए, वो हम अभी एक दूसरे के साथ करने का कोशिश करेंगे. नाउ व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू इज, अनिकेत आवर फ्रेंड वो हमको 3 ग्रुप्स में डिवाइड कर देगा, 3 के. उस ग्रुप के अंदर जो आदित्य ने अभी क्वेश्चन शेयर किया है, व्हाट इज वन थिंग दैट यू हैव लर्न्ड and that has made you feel lit. So the thing that you have learned, जो आपने सीखा है, और उसके जरिए वो सीखने से आपको जितना empowered feel हुआ, क्या experience feel हुआ, वो share करना है. सबको 1.5 से 2 मिनट का वक्त मिलेगा बात करने के लिए. जो 3 लोगों का ग्रुप है, उन 3 लोगों के ग्रुप में एक फर्स्ट पर्सन वो शेयर करेंगे अपनी स्टोरी, उन्होंने क्या सीखा जिसकी वजह से उनको बहुत लिट फील हुआ, बहुत लाइट अप फील हुआ. जो सेकंड पर्सन है, उनका काम है ऑफ लिसनिंग. नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क. इन फैक्ट I would say that it's a more important work than even sharing, because only when the other person in their eyes, through their body language, when they're listening, the person who is sharing वो actually अपने दिल से बहुत easily open होकर share कर सकते हैं. So it's a very important role of listening. And the third very important role is of harvesting. Now harvesting का मतलब है, अगर आपके हाथ के आगे कोई पेन या पेपर हो या अपने कीपैड में आप लिख सकते हैं जो शेयरर बोल रहा है, जो स्पीकर बोल रहा है, उनकी कुछ पॉइंट्स जो आपको लग रहा है कि ये तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, ये समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं मुझे, आप वो अगर पॉइंट्स लिख सकते हैं, दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ द हार्वेस्टर. वंस एवरीवन स्पीक्स, तो पहले अगर मेरे ग्रुप में मैं, आकाश और यूसुफ है, पहले मैं बात करूं, यूसुफ लिसनर बने, आकाश हार्वेस्टर बने, तो नेक्स्ट राउंड में यूसुफ बात करेगा और मैं और आकाश हार्वेस्टर और लिसनर का रोल करेंगे. One person will be speaker, one person will be harvester, and the third person will be the listener. Is this understandable? आप लोग को समझ में आया? Perfect. आप लोग को question समझ में आया? I think आदि एक बार फिर से question समझा सकते हैं. And I think, yeah.
This learning part has to be from this lockdown exploration में जो सीखा है वो कि any part of life.
बिल्कुल नहीं. That's a beautiful question. Not at all. Okay. In any part of our lives, the idea is to express with each other कि जब भी अभी हमको, जैसे I think प्रीति ने, नीलिमा ने शेयर, I think one of you guys shared, मैं भूल गई हूँ किसने शेयर किया, कि इतने ये 2-3 दिन से मेरा खुद का माइंड फ्रेम बिल्कुल चेंज हो गया है. अभी लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, बहुत बड़ा क्राइसिस है वर्ल्ड में, बट बिकॉज हम लोग सिर्फ 20 मिनट दिन के निकाल रहे हैं कुछ नया सीखने के लिए, तो अचानक से लगता है ओ माय गॉड, अगर मैं कुछ सीख सकता हूँ कुछ नया, दैट मीन्स आई कैन डू एनीथिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. अगर ये भी है तो आई कैन हैंडल इट, बिकॉज आई हैव द एबिलिटी टू लर्न समथिंग. द आइडिया इज टू जस्ट शेयर. आप हो सकता है आप शेयर करना चाहें कि मैंने जैसे आदि बता रहे, उन्होंने हारमोनिका बजाना सीखा, मैंने स्प्लिट करना सीखा, तो जो भी आपने सीखा, जो आप सीखना चाहते थे, and you felt really happy about it, you just have to share about that. आपके पास 1.5 से 2 मिनट है बात करने का, so just open up and share whatever you feel. Don't think about ये process से क्या result मिलेगा. Let's just start. Is that okay? I think let's start now. The role of the harvester is to jot down the points. Yes. I'm going to go in mute now.
All right, Aniket, let's break out the group. So we will break out the Zoom groups into rooms of 3. Please open up and share within your groups. And after 6 to 7 minutes, we will pull everyone back. We will play God.
Well, remember before you went into the breakout groups, I touched on 4 points. When we are in a conversation, we need to host ourselves, participate, help other people participate, and like all of us learn together and engage together. So that is actually called the 4-fold practice by the Art of Hosting community. So what we did when you all were in breakout rooms is that we basically went into that practice thoda detail mein, and touched on each of those points, and I basically rambled and gave a couple examples. But Facebook pe wo video hoga, and if you are interested, I'm more than happy to share more with you, or over a quick call, or I'll message you the details.
All right, so welcome back, everyone. I'm going to share my screen with all of us now, and then we're going to end this in 5 minutes. Sorry, we took a little extra time today. Can you see this little diagram? Okay. What we just did was we had a taste of a process called appreciative inquiry, which can be used by teams as small as 3 or 4 people, It could be just your family at home, or an entire society, let's say your building, or an entire team, and even a large organization or a community. The idea is you begin with one question. So right at the center of the circle, you see there's a theme that we want to explore together today as Explorathon. What creates the joy of learning? Or I would frame the question as, when do I learn? Actually, when do I learn in my life? Like in our group, one point that came out is that when I get stuck and I have to solve something, when a problem comes in my life and I need to solve it, that's when I really learn super fast. So right at the center is a theme, is a question or a problem. That is the joy of learning. And then there are 4 Ds. So the idea is to start by asking, when did I actually succeed with this? Rather than trying to ask, why am I not learning? We ask, when did I actually succeed in feeling the joy of learning? So that's the first D. You share and you get everyone to share. When did you first feel it? You discover together. The second D is to dream together. So we spoke about lateral thinking 2 days back, and you say, oh, what's possible? So we dream of possibilities. If we had to create a learning system where everyone experiences this joy of learning, what would that system look like? The third D is design. So we imagine together. Yesterday we spoke about design thinking. How should such a learning system be for an organization or for a community? And finally, we think about an action plan. So we spoke about this in our second session, a work breakdown structure. We boil it down to a set of tasks. What can we do? Right? So this is the 4D model of appreciative learning. There is some very interesting resources on the Facebook group that you can explore with today. Now we would like all of us to experiment and actually do this learning process, this appreciative inquiry process today. And for that, I'm going to ask Nisha to once again explain what all of us could experiment with today.
Hi. So what we were thinking of doing today was, since the experience of, like Akash mentioned, I love the experience of hosting people. We are going to take the opportunity of not only hosting people, but hosting people using the technology of Zoom. So thankfully, some of you guys have already appreciated Zoom on our Facebook group. What we're going to do is, you can invite people. Let's say 2 or 3 of your friends, the way we invited you all. Invite people to come on a Zoom call, ask them to bring chips or some cold coffee, whatever they want to bring. Let's call it a party. So you have invited 3-4 of your friends to come and join you in your Zoom call party, and you are the host. In that hosting, apart from everything that you want to do, we request you to try creating a session of appreciative inquiry, which means share with them the steps of how to, one person being the listener, the other being the harvester, and the third being the speaker, and create a question. So that, can you hear me, or is my voice breaking? Okay. And share create a question that you create this question for them. The question that you guys have just experimented with right now. Let's use this question, ask it in a group of 3 to 4 people, and try using Zoom to host some people who we are not being able to meet right now. Like we mentioned before, this is an activity that is used by companies around the world and has been created very thoughtfully to enhance positivity and growth amongst people. So I think this is a very interesting activity that we can start trying to host some people who we know. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we will put up the instructions, but very simple. Get a group of people together, have a Zoom call together, maybe your family, maybe a group of friends, have some food and some chips lying around, and take the theme of how do we learn best. I believe that the times that we are in, societies are changing, economy is changing, and the world is going to become unlike what we have experienced before. It's going to be a time of change, and in these times of change, if we can learn faster, if we can learn to adapt and transform ourselves, our families, and our organizations faster, that's going to help us not only just survive, but it's going to help us help the community to thrive together. Because the economy and the recession is not just dependent on the government to do something. Each and every one of us is a part of the economy. Each and every one of us is a part of making the economy go up. And therefore, I believe it's our duty to learn, to transform, and to adapt to change. So I encourage all of you, friends, to go out and try this process of appreciative inquiry today and share on the Facebook group about your thoughts of what helps us to learn fast and experience the joy of learning. Thank you so much for being here today.
Can I add a quick thing?
Yes.
I'll just add that in that activity you can have a thoda longer time, huh? Like so you can, each of you can share for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes your own story and interpretation of the question. We've done a little, as Adi said, we've done a test here. So when you speak to your friends and family, you can take it thoda spaciously.
Yeah, we've attempted to take a process that would happen in an organization over hours or over days probably, and compress it into a small tight pack and simplify it so that we can all try it. So it's had some things that have worked and some things where we've struggled with, but I think we have enough to experiment. So please do experiment. Sorry for having overshot the time today. Those of you who would like to leave, feel free to drop out of the call. We will meet once again tomorrow at 12 for a 20-minute session. We begin a pre-session at 11:50. We will put out some content for you all to have a look at regarding appreciative inquiry on the Facebook group today. Those of you who would like to stay back for another 5 minutes to just ask a few questions or share a few thoughts, please feel free to do that, and let's have a little bit of engagement together. So would love to learn. Those of you who are staying back for 5 minutes, we would love to hear from you right now. But in order to make it easy for everyone to share, could you please take a moment to share right now on the Facebook group in one sentence what you discovered in your group discussion, in your Zoom breakout group, about what helps people to learn and change. In our group, we discovered that when there's a problem that we need to solve in our life, that's when we move into learning mode. And we also discussed in our group that sometimes what stops us from learning fast, especially in organizations, is when there are a lot of urgent daily tasks that need to get done, and they stop us from learning because learning seems like it can be done later. So please 1 minute लीजिए and share your thought about what helps. कुछ नया सीखने का मजा कब आया आपको लास्ट लाइफ में? When did you feel that excitement or thrill of learning? And how do you learn? What did you discover in your group about how do you learn? So it'll be beautiful if we can take a minute to share a thought on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And if anyone would like to share something here, please feel free to make a quick sharing over here. Yes, Preeti.
Yeah, so the way you said that music isn't in your blood, I always thought even if the music was not in my family blood, the music was in me, but I never got a chance to learn. So I was telling my group that last year in October or November, I took a lesson for vocal Hindustani music. And interestingly, my two co-students, my classmates, was one 6-year young girl and an 8-year young boy. So that was my best time when I started learning with them the Saregama Padanisa. And it has took a lot of trials, like to break my inhibitions with the number of age, with the classmates, and to learn that we are all on the same page when the learning comes to it. It's like, if I want to learn this music, they're also learning the same thing. I'm also learning the same thing. And that day, it was so much of emotions you can understand, going with the toddlers, But at the end of the class, I was feeling like bingo. Oh God, so possibilities are there. Po is there. Still I can learn. Even if I've screamed so much whole life for my kids, my throat is gone. And after that, it opened up lot many things. Even if I am not able to go out for the classes, now I'm taking Zoom lessons for my vocal Hindustani, which I'm enjoying. So again, thanks to Zoom.
Wow, you are such a learner. Thanks so much for sharing. Would love to hear from someone else. How do you learn? आपको आप कैसे सीखते हैं कुछ नया और उसमें आपको मजा कैसे आता है?
Can I go? Can I go? Please, please, please.
Yes, 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 you can go.
Yeah. So in my group, I had like the craziest group ever. I was with Mranmay and her dad, and it was so cool. So Mranmay was telling like how she uh, was starting to be a filmmaker, but then when she entered enterprise, she learned everything about it, and now she feels like she's a complete filmmaker, something which might not be taught in her course. So she feels really proud about it, and and also how she's learning like taking guitar lessons now. So which is like, so she had this sense of pride in herself, and you could see it on her face how she was feeling so good about herself after learning. And the best thing was the interaction between the father and the daughter, and how it was just this vibe which we get when you see a father and a daughter who are proud of each other communicating. It was just so, I don't know, beautiful. It was amazing.
And see, look at that beautiful emotion when you discover something and you learn something. And I think that's what we all need in these times of change, to fill ourselves and each other with this enthusiasm of learning something. So thanks, Rohan and Rinmay's dad. One last sharing for today.
Aditya,
Yes, Mamu, please.
can I share?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I was one. I used to travel to France for work, and I could not understand a word of French. It used to be a big challenge. So I decided that I must learn French. And what I'm trying to say that age is never a barrier to learn anything. I went 4 days a week, 3 hours a day to Alliance Francaise on Senapati Bapat Road. It's another thing that I didn't give my exams because I chickened out. But never was good at giving exams. I wish they had taken me into the other class without giving exams. I would have continued. And but I learned enough. I learned enough to be able to strike or to be able to get somebody interested on the road in me. And the French are supposed to be very nasty if you don't know their language. But if you speak even a little, it's good enough. And to be able to understand the gist of what the person was saying, to be able to get onto the train, and it was great fun. So no age is too old to learn. This is my book, and it's great fun. And the best part of it was in the class. All the other people were young. So if it was somebody's birthday, you got like in school sweets and gifts. So I brought chocolates, Cadbury chocolates on my birthday to distribute to everybody.
Wow.
And the teacher was good looking also. She was rather nice. So that was a motivation. Chalo.
And that is my mama. And we have traveled to France together on that trip. And I have to tell you, from him, I have learned really that age is no limit, truly. Just few months back, I know he has taken a course in corporate finance at his age when he doesn't really need to, but he signed up with a CA friend of his and went through a course in corporate finance. It's so inspiring. And I see that I can see right now that expression of joy and enthusiasm on his face. So thanks, Mamu.
Yes.
And thank you all. Please let's create this discussion on our Facebook community today. How do you learn, and what are those situations that inspire us to learn, and how can we create a more vibrant learning community for ourselves? Because that's what today's times really need for us to do. That is each and every one of our responsibility to learn and change super fast. So thanks, friends. Have a fantastic Sunday and Let's see you once again tomorrow at 11:50 for day 6 of the Explorathon.